violation. Commonwealth versus Crawford. All the Commonwealth had to show that there was an order that said he had to stay 100 yards away. And then his attention was drawn to the traffic. There's no testimony that he ever came back to consult with the police officer further or that he was afraid to leave. Rather, all the evidence, including the photos, shows Mr. Kearney following along Miss Catani as she proceeds down the street and getting even closer to him by the end of that journey. So he's well within 100 yards. I introduced some photographs of Miss Catani, Your Honor, that Mr. Kearney posted the next day on the blog. I think there are about 26 of them. I don't know why somebody who's terrified of Miss Catani would provoke her by filing all those photographs the very next day on his blog. Apparently he managed to overcome his terror somehow. But in any case, I recall Mr. Bradle objecting that he didn't object to the photographs as long as there was no implication that Mr. Kearney took them himself. Well, I don't know whether he took them himself, Your Honor, but I do know that in every single photograph we introduce from those videos of Mr. Kearney, he's standing there opposite Miss Catani holding up his cell phone camera. So he's well within 35 yards. I would suggest that not only has the Commonwealth proved its case beyond the directed verdict standard, it's proved its case well beyond reasonable doubt.
Just one, if I could just have one brief response. Nice having a case law, but you have to know the person's there. There's knowledge. You can't just be such strict liability if a person is, if the government can prove they're within 100 yards of each other. That's not it. There has to be contact. There's no contact there. The government can't prove contact, and the government is, speculating about where they were relative to each other. They have no evidence whatsoever before you that where they were relative to each other and when. There's no evidence of it, and even in the light most favorable Commonwealth, they have not made it to that threshold that a rational jury would go in that direction. So I ask you to dismiss. Thank you.
Appreciate the motion. The motion is denied. Are you putting in the defense counsel?
Yes, Judge. Meredith O'Neill, please.
It's called Meredith O'Neill.
Meredith O'Neill?
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear in the matter now in hearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Thank you.
May I inquire your honor? Good afternoon. State your name, spell your last name. And where do you live, ma'am, just generally? What do you do for a living?
Okay.
And who do you work for? And what's your educational background?
Management French, and then the master's in accounting and MBA from North University.
How long have you been an accountant?
So 12 years.
And do you know Aiden Carney? How do you know Mr. Carney? And how long have you been dating? How long have you known?
Years.
You know that he's charged here today with violating a restraining order, right?
Yeah.
And you were with him that day, weren't you? Tell us how that came about, that you and he were together and coming here on, coming to Dedham on 2/26/24.
Sure. There are motions that again, in this case, we both have obviously been following the trial for quite some time, so we decided to attend the hearing together.
And just so, just for the record, so the factual background is clear, Mr. Carney is probably the most prolific commentator and journalist investigating
Objection,
on the Karen Reed case. Is that a fair statement?
overruled.
Yes, that's a fair statement. That also basically-
And you actually do too, right? You
Yes.
comment on Twitter or X about it here and there, right? And you guys, you assist him with that endeavor as well?
Yes, sometimes.
Sure. So on that date, there was an afternoon hearing on the Reed matter, right? And at the time, Mr. Carney had just gotten out of jail a couple days earlier, right?
Yes,
And that was from a case that was out of this court, right? You know a little bit about it, right? And that you know that the charge in that case was among the charges in that case was a charge of assault and battery, right?
Your Honor, this is Mr. Freitas, but
I'm just trying to move it along for some preliminary matters, Your Honor.
It's leading, but it's all anecdotal. We all know most of this anyway. Let's go.
So on the day of 2/26, how do you and Mr. Carney come together?
so court together with our friend Brad Goldstein.
And what was the plan that day among you guys to watch this hearing?
So, Court on it. So we got there ended.
Where did you park when you got here?
I parked in the right.
And did Aiden have a car in some other location as well?
Yes, about 5 or 10 minutes down the road, he in park, so I met him coming from his house and then we drove together.
Then you drove together closer.
Close, correct, to the Red Street.
And where did you park your car?
In the Red Street park.
So in like the back of the building, behind the building?
Yeah.
Did he leave some items in the car when you guys departed the car?
Yeah, his computer and his car key.
So what was your path, the three of you, what was your path to the Norfolk Superior Court?
Into the courthouse, we walked around, I believe this building, between this building and the Red Street, across the street, we crossed walking up. We crossed up around 1:30.
Was there anything unusual that occurred in the walk, or was it just the typical assemblage of people outside?
Not at all very typical. Reporters, Karen and Dave outside.
And did you have some conversation with them, or did you see Mr. Carney having any conversation with them?
Yes, many conversations.
Do you know who Lindsay Gattani is? And did you see her outside anywhere during your arrival into the courthouse?
No.
What happened when you got into the courthouse?
Well, about 1:30, we weren't letting go in this yet, so we went to security and then went upstairs and waited in a line before they started letting people in about 10 minutes before. they started letting.
Did you and Aiden and Mr. Goldstein, did the three of you get into the court hearing?
Yes, we did.
And where did you go when you got in there?
That is the third, towards the outside, so,
And if you were looking up at the bench, at the judge's bench, were you on the left or the right?
we were on the left side.
All right, so kind of near the windows on the left? Did you sit in the same row as Mr. Carney or a different row?
Same row.
What time did you sit down roughly, if you remember?
But one would have been 1:50 short before we lost our time.
Did you have any knowledge of the hearing that was about to commence and what kind of a hearing it was?
Yes, it was a motion hearing. There were several motions to be heard, including a vote.
So was this the type of a hearing that you anticipated would be 5 or 10 minutes or a longer type of a hearing? So you were sitting down. Did the hearing commence at about 2:01 in the afternoon? And right around the time that it commenced, did you see Miss Gattani? And where did you first see her? All right, and just to summarize, you've seen video of this and you're aware that there's video and evidence about this very snapshot of time, right? Okay, and you remember it though, right? All right, so we're gonna just go with your testimony. So when you turned around and you saw Miss Gattani, what did you see? Set the scene for us.
Right away, identity, and right now I'm gonna be not McCabe and some other family members, so we had over identificating her and was her name said she's going to be here immediately now.
Did you notice whether she had anything in her hands? Did you make any eye contact with her or communicate with her in any way?
No, as soon as I saw her from afar, I just go down.
When you turned around to see Miss Gattani, you were looking kind of towards the back of the room?
Yeah.
You kind of had to turn over your shoulder. What about Mr. Carney? Did you see him, whether he was looking with you or whether he was looking straight ahead?
That was not her. I was just looking to see who was coming in, just wanting to see if it means that the gave it to other witnesses that he.
Okay, just listen to the question you're asking, just answer that question, and then just wait for the next one.
So when you, right at this snapshot of time, when you're looking back at Miss Gattani, you see Mr. Carney. Did Mr. Carney react in any verbal way, to your knowledge, when he saw or you saw Miss Gattani?
Corrected her.
Did he get up?
He did get up and said, "God, that
Was he facing the direction of Miss Gattani when he said that? Or was he facing the direction of some other people in the rows?
stay forward."
And what happened next? Right next?
Got out. Also standing in there in between us, the crowd standing between us, when we left, walked out the door, and downstairs.
Did anyone have to tell you or Mr. Carney what to do?
No, I told him to leave me left us, I'm speaking at court.
What was the time period that went by from the time Gattani walked in the room till you and Aiden had walked out of the room? Where did you see Miss Gattani go when she came into the room, if you saw?
I did, like,
Did you see, do you know who Paul O'Keefe is? Did you see Mr. O'Keefe in there? If you remember.
don't believe, I mean, looking at videos after the fact, and I can't say that at that time, when I was walking out, I saw any of them, because I'm just focused on getting out.
Sure. In the 10 minutes or so that you were waiting there, can you recall looking around the courtroom and seeing who was around?
I think some of you have been there before, but that's certainly not Mr. Tanya or Jeremy Davey to walk out after they.
So you leave with Mr. Carney out the door of the courtroom.
Correct.
Where do you go?
We head downstairs, security area where we came in, and a couple people stopped us and talked.
Just gotta listen to the question you're not.
So you walk outside and you're going to leave the courtroom?
Yeah.
As you guys leave, did anybody from the Alberts or McCabe's or O'Keefe's make any comments about you or Aiden having to leave?
Objection, relevance, overruled.
What did Chris Albert say?
That's the ITPH, that we needed.
Okay. Where did you go, just physically, where did you go when you left the courtroom?
Right downstairs.
Did you speak with anybody as you were leaving?
One woman, even.
Okay. What was Mr. Carney's kind of demeanor when he was leaving?
Objection to the characterization and to what you want.
Oh, the anxiety stays, the rest doesn't. It's a question.
When you say he was in a state of anxiety, can you give us some things that you observed about him that made you conclude he was in a state of anxiety?
Like, he told me he was worried and followed him out.
So you get down the stairs to the first floor, and what happens on the first floor?
A woman approached us and gave some information about entering the courthouse before.
Do you know that lady by any chance?
Yes.
Was that in the vicinity of the metal detectors, or where was that on the first floor, just generally? Did you stay with Aiden for that, or did you go ahead of him, or were you still together, or what? You exited the the front doors of the courthouse? And what was the scene that you first saw when you went outside?
There was, it's a smaller crowd of people outside, smaller homes, and a lot of people are not into the hearing, but for these young people, were also police officers.
Approximately how long after 2 o'clock were you guys standing outside?
Probably within 2:06 to 7.
A few minutes after 2:01 or so, a few minutes later. What did you see Mr. Carney do when he came out of the courthouse?
He immediately walked up to a police officer across the street,
And where was the police officer?
directing traffic in the crosswalk.
Okay, so that's kind of is that a busy area there, or is that a quiet area? So did Mr. Carney stay on the court side of the street, or did he walk to the registry side of the street?
He walked to the register side.
Did he try to have a quick conversation with the officer? And what did you see?
The officer, things were restraining order situation, the officer said, go over there for now.
And did you see any physical gesture that accompanied that statement?
Pointing towards there.
Okay, so he kind of made a physical gesture pointing in that direction? And did you see Mr. Carney do anything in response to that gesture?
He went over towards the registry, the actual building.
All right, and did he, where did he stand in relation to the actual facade of the Registry of Deeds building?
He was all the way up against the wall, far away.
Okay. Did you and Mr. Carney intend to do anything at that time period to memorialize what had just happened inside?
Action to what she
Yeah, objection sustained. It's to the form of the question.
Sure. What was the plan between you and Mr. Carney about what to do about what happened inside?
Again, I memorializing what happened in there to ensure that this could happen, going to see what happened and make it down and be some type of violation.
At some point, was Mr. Carney reporting, doing his job, I guess, about what had just happened to him?
Started live stream of the courthouse and we both agreed it was a good idea so that every day was documented in case we could kind of see back out all of those.
And what is live streaming?
It's just when you have a camera and you project a live video to an audience, whether it's YouTube or platform.
Was Mr. Carney live streaming, to your knowledge, as he came down the courthouse steps? Was he live streaming when he was talking to the officer?
Yes.
Did he continue to live stream as he followed the directions of the officer? When he got to the facade of the registry, was he still live streaming? All right. Did you want to get involved with him in his live streaming at the time?
No, I purposely kind of stayed out of the church that on.
At some point, did hundreds of people stream out of the courthouse?
Yeah.
How much time had passed between when, let's say, when he gets to the facade and then when hundreds of people come out of the courthouse?
Probably March.
Was that an expected, strike that? Was that the departure of the folks that you saw in the courtroom earlier?
Yeah.
Did you expect that hearing to end, causing all those people to leave?
No. Still in there, keep with us.
You mentioned that the officer that Mr. Carney spoke with was in a little bit of a busy area, right? Did it get less busy or did it get more busy when those hundreds of people came out?
Because we were,
With this event occurring, did it get more difficult or less difficult to get the officer's ear to get something going with respect to police support?
for the,
And was Mr. Carney continuing to live stream?
was for a period of time, yes, that it. Yeah, so.
Did many of those hundreds of people kind of come across the street to the registry?
Yeah.
Do many of those people know and communicate with you and Mr. Carney? And they do typically on a regular basis. These are people that you guys know, supporters, friends, colleagues, acquaintances, right? Did you and Mr. Carney kind of separate off from each other in terms of talking to these people and doing whatever you guys were doing?
Yeah, okay.
And where were you and where was he, to your knowledge?
Still around that same area, there's a security officer. So at one point, my friend Brad, my team was, but he wandered a little bit towards the parking lot.
At some point, did you see Lindsay Gattani and her group come out of the courthouse? Was it something that was open and obvious, or was it something that was mixed in with everyone else coming out?
All wearing coats.
Was there something unusual about, the colors? Was there contrasting colors? Was it a majority of similar clothing, or what was the scene?
A lot of dark winter, black winter.
Did you, at some point, when they came out, when Gattani and her group came out, were you paying attention to Mr. Carney at that time?
I don't know exactly, but the only time I saw her was when I went back to my car parking lot, get some stuff there.
So before you left, did you, and when you were in the vicinity of Mr. Carney, did you ever hear him calling anyone a liar, screaming out liar, liar? Did you ever see him make any outward manifestations that he had seen or spoke to Ms. Gattani?
No,
And was he still live streaming?
yes,
When you live stream, do you hold up your phone in the similar fashion as you would when you're videoing someone or photographing someone?
hold up.
So just, is it a similar way or is it dissimilar?
It's different. Trying to get yourself.
And was he doing that to your observation that day? So you were able to discern that he was holding it towards himself versus memorializing the scene? At what point do you and Mr. Goldstein decide to go head towards the rear of the building?
Within a minute or two of everybody. He gave a bow, he got it, and then he went to my car because he wanted to go there.
Okay. So, did you say that you saw Ms. Gattani in the back parking lot?
He did, she was already there by then. I didn't see her, Brad, when I stepped out of my car, Brad pointed out that there she is, and it took me a few minutes to even be able to recognize her. With another group of women and pretty much wearing the same thing, so it just took me a lot far to see her.
She was parked all the way at the far end of the registry of each parking lot, right?
Further towards the end than I was, I was closer to that level and.
More than a football field away from the registry building, or about a football field, or less than a football field from the registry building, from the back of the registry building? So she was almost to the back of that registry parking lot?
Yes.
Was the rest of her group also parked there and congregated there?
They were all congregated in the other part, but they were.
So if Mr. Carney, when he left, if he had gone to the back of that parking lot, he would have been going right to where Gattani was going.
Sure.
It was the same location as where Gattani went, right?
I got the picture. Next question.
When Mr. Carney went to the back with you, was Katani still there or was she gone?
That was much later. No, I went back and found him. When I saw her back there, I needed to text him and said, do not come back here.
Okay, so then you go back to where Mr. Carney is?
All the way on court. To the right of Superior Court where Sharon Street Interchange parked down that way. So.
All right, so he had departed and gone the other way. And that would be, as you're looking at the North Superior Court, the street to the right along the side of the court, right? And you went and found him? Did you bring him his items? When, Ms. O'Neill, is the first time you saw Ms. Katani? Departing the court?
In the parking lot.
In the back of the building?
Yes.
Okay. What were your observations of her demeanor? Was she gesturing? Was she looking back? Was she looking forward? What were your observations?
Well, nothing.
Did anyone in the group appear to be agitated or upset by anything that may have transpired? May I have one moment, please? Thank you very much, Ms. Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
So now, I think you told Mr. Brazel, no, been for a couple of years and that you've been dating, 8 months, that's right.
That's correct.
Did you know him when he was dating you sometime?
Irritated.
Really? You don't much like Mr. Time, do you?
Oh, when people lie.
That wasn't the question. Did you hear the question?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Do I like Mr. Tony? Of
Yes. Now try my question.
course, I don't think so.
Thank you. Did you execute an affidavit, Ms. O'Neill, on June 5th of this year?
I did.
And did you say, Ms. O'Neill, paragraph 3? Actually, I'll show it to you first. And you can ignore what I circled. Take a minute to read that.
Okay, number 3.
Yeah, just read it to start. So did you say in number 3 of your affidavit at approximately 2:05, I turned around and saw Lindsay Gattani into the courtroom holding a white piece of paper in her hand. Immediately told me we need to leave. We were surprised to see her there because she never attended the parent briefing prior to that and was not friends with any of the witnesses or victims' parents.
Correct.
By the way, have you attended all of the parent hearings at that point?
Most of them, not all.
Then you don't know of your personal knowledge, whether this time you was saying it already in previous service or not, do you?
I do watching this. I watched every single hearing.
Oh, you kept a vigilant eye. So at the moment that Mr. Gattani walked in, you checked out every single person in the courtroom.
Well, at that point, she said, I also knew that she was there.
I'm not sure I see the connection, but maybe if I think about it, it will become clear. Now, did you happen to read an affidavit that Mr. Kearney wrote?
One,
This one.
Does that object to impeaching a witness with someone else's statement?
See what the question's going to.
Well, I'm not familiar with all of it, so there's only one that think like that. Also, take a look.
Just wait for a question. You don't have to respond.
Did you happen to watch, you watch all of these attorney shows? Do you remember whether you watched the Saturday Night Live show on February 24th?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but that was so long ago.
Well, did we agree that February 24th of 2004 was 2 days before February 26th that you're in the United States?
2024?
Yes, right, when,
Yeah, thank you.
thank you. And do you know that the district attorney said that on that live show, the amounts that he would be defending Karen Reed here was very important that.
You're saying that very enough to.
And do you know that he stages it,
Give me one. Witnesses don't have to agree or disagree, just whatever you know or don't know.
and you know that he stated that on that show, he expressed concerns that some mechanics and Alberts would show up with Lucy Vitani as human shield in order to remove him from the courtroom due to the restraining order she had.
I don't remember.
Well, still for the moment, he did. Can you explain why, in light of the fact that he's broadcasting on the live show, 2 days before the ceremony, he was worried about the family showing up? He was surprised to see Lindsay walk into the court.
Objection sustained. No, excuse me. Objection is sustained. Next question.
So you and Mr. Kearney see Lindsay Vitani come in and you get up and you go downstairs and out the door of the boat. Is that correct? And at what point does Mr. Kearney start live test?
As soon as we come outside.
Stepped outside the courtroom or stepped outside the building? Okay. And that was always the plan, was it not? What's the point of the visit? Was the Kearney was going to do a live cast on the scene?
I don't speak Spanish.
Did he pretty much always do that? And that was the camera meeting?
See before, I almost got there.
How often would you say that's not the live cast stuff?
It's only doesn't seem like the morning one. Is that they keep camera on to document what's happening downstairs.
He told you, I want to document what happens there.
That's the time he followed him, he wanted it on camera.
Oh. So you're outside of the courtroom, he talks to the officer, and the officer directs him, you say the registry. You give the officer say registry of deeds.
So he said, go over there and point the script to you.
Ah. Stop and point like this, or was it a question like that?
Are you pointing at the building?
Straight ahead,
Absolutely.
wasn't pointing at the concert.
I don't respond.
Mr. Kearney goes over there, are you still with him at this point?
Yeah.
And you're standing next to him or nearby him by the registry of deeds building?
Bye. Not
And you're familiar with the Norfolk Superior Court, the entrance and the exit, I'm not. And you've attended a number of the hearings that you've seen. And you know that typically when the hearings get over, people who have attended the hearing, quite a number of them have guaranteed that. Would you agree, quite a number of people typically attend guaranteed hearing? And on this particular day, it was so crowded, everybody couldn't get in, right? So you know when the hearing ends, what typically happens is the people go out that main exit door, same one they went in, right?
Yeah.
Now, at some point, you notice that people are coming out the door, right?
Yeah.
Are you standing next to the defendant at that point?
For a little bit, you're still a little bit away, the crowd started.
Well, did you observe whether Mr. Kearney, who was worried that Mr. Conley might follow him, was looking at the jeweler at the door, was in the position to notice the crowd coming?
On his camera live stream himself.
So is it your testimony his view was totally obstructed by the phone?
I can't tell you what he was thinking at that point, because I was having a conversation.
Well, you've been really good about telling us when I'm talking about the
Counsel, should you wait for her to answer the question 6? Thank you. You can finish your answer.
I can't tell you what he was thinking about his assessment of what was going on, so I was having conversations before rushing up to me, on his phone, so.
So in any case, you noticed that people were coming. Did you have any reason to believe that Ms. Catani would not be coming out that door with the rest of the crowd attending here?
I have no idea what it is, but
What was the question on that?
I know it's times where he has plans to close the door for him.
No. I asked you, did you have any reason to believe that Ms. Catani would not be walking out that door with all the rest of the people who attended the camp?
Objection, or is inviting speculation, I think someone else will state mine.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean wrong for insisting. Well, at that point, did you say to Mr. Kearney, I see people coming out. I see people from the Karen Reed hearing coming out the door across the street. Did you say that, John?
I don't know what it's.
And you only talk to them when you're directly next to them.
I was talking to other people.
So you have no concern at all that Lindsay Gattari to come out and pursue him and get him in trouble. You weren't worried about that at all at that point.
I was trying to figure out what happened because
I didn't ask you what you're trying to figure out. I asked you if you were worried at all that Lindsay Gattari would come out and pursue him. I thought that was your big worry. Did you tell Mr. Brady that? You and Mr. Kearney were
But
very
I
worried.
just would like her to be able to get an answer. And
One question at a time, if the possible.
Yeah, we were too busy with that. Monitor. Or, you know, next time, look them up.
And you didn't think that in the book of this one, please.
No.
She will send her to.
No, I didn't ask you why. So you don't tell Mr. Kearney that people are coming up, you don't call that the attention. Because you're talking to somebody, or for whatever reason, you don't call it to this.
Talking to college.
And you don't say, hey, Lindsay might be coming out that door. Why don't you go back to my car and get the hell out of here so she doesn't track you?
I hadn't seen her at that point.
So was it your plan to wait until she was on top of you before you left?
you know, you can have a plan to you didn't expect to carry them in 5 minutes.
Well, it hasn't, right? People were coming out the door regardless of your expectations. You could see that, could you not? And in fact, before people even started coming out, you were so worried about losing your family. Why didn't you say, let's go back to my car and get the hell out of here? So there was some problem.
Why should be more than the report, so that's fire report, they come.
And there was a police station in the town of town.
I don't know.
And do you know when Mr. Brian filed a police report? Relative to that visit, couple of days after. So you couldn't leave because you wanted to file a police report, but then a couple of days passed before Mr. Kearney gets there. Is that what you're calling it?
At that point, this had already, we already started with this, so.
But you think it would have been approved to get it recorded before she did?
We did, like, that night, so.
So you would say she was very quick about reporting this alleged violation?
Not when it happens, not until later.
Could have belonged to it. Yes. So. Mr. Kearney did not stay up against the wall of the registry of deeds. Yeah.
No, we actually went up to the down Court Street, like we I texted them, "Do not come back here in the parking lot."
Well. When he starts moving. He moves in the direction of this court, correct?
No, we moved around the back towards Superior, down Court Street.
Really? Could I have, 15, please? Remember what Mr. Kearney was dressed as that day?
Right, we
The blue tie? Dark blue tie? You see him in that photo, towards the back? Well, at that point, he's not in the front of he's not on the steps of the registry of deeds.
There's a little bit of stuff, so I can't tell where exactly he is from that photo.
All right. Well, would you say, looking at the registry of deeds building, would you say he's moved to the right or he's moved?
Judge, I object. This is all speculation because we don't know where Mr. Connie is. We don't know when this is.
Objection sustained. I don't need to give a roll. You can't tell, can you tell from that photo what direction he went? Yes or no?
No,
Next question.
All right. I'll take a look at 16, please. Well, wherever he is, it's fair to say he's not on the front of the registry of deeds at this point.
I can't tell where he is. I don't, it doesn't look like the front of.
All right. Let me move on to another line of question. You had your cell phone then. Mr. Kearney obviously had his cell phone. Did you ever call him and suggested that you should have used the call?
I did not serve it there.
Sorry,
I didn't call him, but I went down and down service it.
whenever you're in the courthouse or whenever you were outside,
That is your general, my standard terrible service.
who's your carrier?
Thank you.
And when you were there were a lot of people in the crowd shouting this. And you were, at times, you were some distance from Mr. Kearney, you know?
Yeah, and then we went back to the parking lot.
Right. So you really have no idea whether he happened to shout liar, liar, or somebody sometime or not.
Well, by the time I got to the parking lot, Mr. Connie was there, so we couldn't have passed.
And when you were apart from Mr. Kearney, were you down in the parking lot the whole time, or?
For most of the time, and then walked back, yes.
So you weren't necessarily next to him at all times before you got to the parking.
For the parking lot, I was with him most of the time.
I'm sorry?
Before I went to the parking lot, which was when we got separated, I was with them most of the time. Very close to him.
You were most of the time fairly closely. All right, so the answer to my question, which was you weren't with him at all times, is yes. Did I tell him with you today?
In here, yes.
Still have the text message, do not come back here.
I got to scroll that far, but if I didn't delete it, which I believe to be the be in there.
Thank you. No further questions.
Just a brief question, Your Honor. So you were asking Ms. O'Neill about why didn't you go find the police station and report it afterwards? Something to that effect, right? Were you in the car with Mr. Carney for a little while after kind of this whole thing had subsided? Was he in any sort of state of mind to be able to report anything to the police?
On the verge of tears, I mean, go get it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He was on the verge of tears, he was shaking, and it was trying to calm down enough to be able to go, at least pick up the kid.
All right. And is that why you didn't pursue any police documentation at that point?
All he was. So.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Yes, right. It was on the verge of tears and he was, yeah, I don't think this is. That's fun. I was crying during the live broadcast. The live cast he was doing across the street, registry to be. So he only collapsed into this emotional state after he had that. He held it together bravely during the broadcast was. No further questions.
No further. Thank
You may step down. Thank you.
Judge,
Sets the break.
I have a very quick witness who's got to pick up her kids, and I was hoping to maybe just get her on for 5 minutes or so.
So that happened across, but we'll start it.
Sure,
Go for a
appreciate it.
short period of time.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lauren Cologne. Lauren Cologne.
Or go well.
Lauren Cologne.
Yep.
Yep, thank you.
Good morning, if you raise your right hand, do you swear in the matter now I'm hearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
We do.
Thank you.
May I inquire, Your Honor? Ms. Cologne, good afternoon. State your name and spell your last name, please.
OL,
And where do you live, just generally?
in the Norfolk County.
What do you do for a living?
I am a project manager at a large company. I work out of their headquarters.
And are you married?
I
Family? What's your educational background?
I have my undergraduate and an MBA degree both from Northeastern University.
You've taken an interest in the Karen Reed and Aidan Carney cases here in Norfolk County?
Yeah.
And from time to time you attend these hearings?
I attended one here.
Was that 2/26/24?
That work.
And you were there inside the courthouse or outside the courthouse when that Karen Reed hearing was going on?
Okay.
Shortly after 2 o'clock, were you outside the courthouse? Do you know who Aidan Carney is?
We do.
And it's the gentleman here with me, right? And did you see him emerge from the courthouse a little bit after 2 o'clock?
I did.
And what exactly were your observations? And first of all, where were you situated when you first saw him?
Yes, I was on the stairs. It was the first stair or two leading up to the courthouse doors.
Okay, so the base of the stairs at the Norfolk Superior Court main entrance. You see Mr. Carney. What do you see?
Mr. Carney came out, he looked visibly anxious, very, very anxious. He had really a great concern that was,
Objection. Anxious will stand. Next question.
Was he using his phone at all?
not sure, but then I did observe him make a comment that I should.
Objection to the comments.
You answered that question. What's your next question, Mr. Byrne?
What did you see him do, just physically with respect to his phone? Do you know if he was recording out to the world or recording himself? If you know.
I believe he was recording the.
Where was he when he started to do that?
I want to say, maybe it was like around the base of the stairs. Maybe leading out into the sidewalk.
When he, I'm sorry. Okay. When he came out, did he draw your attention or were you looking at other things besides Mr. Carney when he came?
No, I was looking.
And what did you see him do and where did you see him go?
Well, I saw him, there was a state trooper that was there on.
Objection, my question is, what did you see him
Answer the
do?
question, thanks.
What did you see him
Listen to the
do?
question and just answer that question, please.
He began moving down the stairs and started to, cross the street. He approached a deputy police officer.
You were going to talk about a state trooper. Did a state trooper approach him as well?
Yeah.
What happened?
The state trooper was concerned about,
Objection.
Just what did you see happen?
so I saw the state trooper usher folks off the stairs and to continue moving across.
And was Mr. Carney part of that group of people that were being ushered around? Where did he go?
He then, was walking into the street. He approached a Dedham police officer.
Was that Dedham police officer busy doing things or was he just completely focused on Mr. Carney?
No, there was a lot of people around.
Next question.
Did you see Mr. Carney speak to him?
I did.
What was said?
I
Objection.
Notice and knowledge, state of mind.
Grounds for your objection.
Seriously.
What's the whole-
And it's also already in evidence, Your Honor's used the recording of the conversation.
Overruled.
What did he say to the officer?
I did not hear what was said.
Next question.
What did you see as far as any physical gestures by either Mr. Carney or the officer?
I saw the officer lift his hand and point towards the registry of deeds. I then
First
saw,
question. And then what did you see Mr. Carney do in terms of gesture?
I saw him do the same.
And where did you see Mr. Carney proceed after that?
He then walked over to the registry.
Was he still doing his thing with his phone?
Yeah.
At some point, hundreds of people stream out of the Norfolk Superior Court, right? Was it close in time after this interaction?
It was.
What did you observe about people streaming out of the court?
Just generally, I really didn't observe, I don't know.
Okay, was there a large number of people or a small number of people?
Here's the election.
Now, were they going towards the handicap ramp, down the main stairs, or where were they going in general?
There were folks using, both the handicap, rail and the.
Did you, were you near Mr. Carney when those folks started to stream out of the courthouse?
No.
Did you see Mr. Carney doing anything else outside the courthouse when these folks were coming out of the courthouse?
I did not.
I just have one more, please, Ron. Thank you very much, Ron. Nothing further. Thank you.
So he, follows friends,
I had seen his, YouTube,
just once,
no.
when was the most recent time, so.
Last night, I had one of the jurors from the first year you tried.
Have you watched others as well?
Yeah.
You have a paid subscription to any of these channels, some of them are free, some of them are paid.
No,
And, can I ask you, the executed this affidavit March 6th?
yeah.
And, um, how did you come to run this affidavit, or how did you come to execute this affidavit?
And I would recall if somebody sent me a tweet or if I saw it myself, but it was basically, a request from Mr. Carney, if you were there, let me know if you were going to give your observations.
So he put out the request and you responded to it?
Yes, I felt as though,
Tell me what you thought.
Yes.
The question. So, after you responded, what happens if you're still clear?
I sent it over to, the paralegal who works for,
Did you draft the whole application yourself, or did the paralegal before you were?
I drafted it mostly myself. She had other parts of it that I had originally drafted.
All right. And then you read it over, signed it?
Yes.
So some of this language, like I am of age and resident of Commonwealth of Massachusetts, that's not your language, right?
Objection, Your Honor. Legally, she signed it and adopted it. It is her language.
Do you understand the question? Were you the one that wrote that, or was that suggested, Friday, that you signed?
I wrote the affidavit.
Thank you, no further questions, anything on the.
Nothing further, thank you.
Thank you, your excuse.
Thank you.
Residents.
Court's in recess until 2 o'clock.
All right, continue to the front door, thank you.
Zoom will resume at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Outside again at 1:45. Thank you guys, okay with that?
Yeah, of course.